After fighting a losing battle with Uber for years, French chauffeurs had finally had enough. They used their cars to block major thoroughfares in protest of what they called an illegal takeover.
It's over. We've suffered for the past 3-4 years. We've had enough now.
That was in 2016, and as taxi drivers took their grievances to the streets, Uber took its case to then Economy Minister Emmanuel Macron. According to leaked documents, the man who would soon become president held secret meetings with Uber officials to help the company keep its foothold in the country. The revelations have landed him in hot water with French lawmakers on both sides of the political spectrum.
We see that it could be the case that the ministry acted to defend the interests of a private company and to support the deregulation of the labor market.
If there was indeed an agreement between Mr. Macron and the company Uber when he was economy minister, indeed there should be maybe an investigation to find out what happened exactly.
Uber also found a big advocate in Neelie Kroes. She's a former EU vice president who used her Dutch government connections to cultivate back channels for the ride-hailing giant. And she did so while Uber was under criminal investigation in the Netherlands, which means she was in breach of block-wide transparency rules.
We are, of course, now analyzing the various pieces of information that have been published. So what I can announce for now is that the Commission has decided to send a letter to the former Vice President Kroes for a clarification on the information presented in the media. And this is as much as I can say at the moment.
In response to the leaks, Uber has admitted to its bad behavior, which was overseen by the firm's former CEO, Travis Kalanick. Now under new management, the company says it keeps all of its dealings above board. But even though it's cleaned up its act, it continues to reap the benefits of the sins of its past. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World.
Nicole Sadek is an editorial fellow at the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. They're leading the effort to comb through the 124,000 documents leaked to the media by a former Uber executive. She tells us about what the group is doing and what they hope the revelations will achieve.
What we found were files of text messages, emails, internal company records, strategy memos, not really structured. So you had to learn what terms to search for, especially when you're looking through things like texts. People tend to write in shorthand. So it was really a challenge at first to dig through these documents. But because we had such a large group of people doing that, we were able to find unique stories in each country. What we found was that Uber entered a lot of cities, particularly in Europe and the Middle East, in defiance of local labor and taxi laws. They muscled their way into those countries, and then they tried to change the regulations in their favor. And they did this by forming intimate connections with world leaders and really trying to push for those reforms in ways that other companies with perhaps less wealth and capital are able to do. They actually had this mantra of it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. These high-ranking officials, a big part of accountability is reporting to the public the meetings they have with the public sector. Our partners in Le Monde in France found several interactions between Macron's staff, as well as Macron himself, and Uber executives that weren't reported to the public. Now, these laws have changed over time, what's required to be reported and what isn't. But nonetheless, it allows for some of these backdoor, closed door meetings to happen without the public's knowledge. Uber has said that a lot of what it did 5 or 6 years ago is not what it's doing today. And a lot of that is due to the fact that there is a new CEO. But the truth is, the reason Uber was able to become so successful globally is because it did, enter markets illegally, operate in places where it wasn't authorized, thwart authorities so that it wouldn't receive enforcement actions. So that's why it's so successful today. And I think what this project, or what we hope this project does, is it calls for more lobbying and ethics laws, not just at Uber, but at all big tech companies or just companies in general.